Hello, my name is Nicole Butts, and I'm the Presidential Associate for Inclusive Excellence and Diversity here at Cal Poly Pomona. Welcome to 3 to Thrive, Your Journey to Inclusion. We're going to talk about 3 things you need to thrive on your journey to inclusion, and this is part 2. So quick refresher. The 3 things you need to thrive in your journey are the mirror for self-reflection, 2, the bridge to build connections to others, and 3, the window to examine the absence or existence of inclusion in society. In part 1, we focused on the mirror. Today, we're going to focus on the bridge. So let's get started. A bridge is a connector. It connects one to another. In this case, we're going to talk about how we can use it to connect us to other people. But we're also talking about connecting our mirror work to our window work. Because once we've begun the work of self-reflection, so remember, when we talked about self-reflection, we were talking about 1, acknowledging that we each have bias, increasing our knowledge through reading, and challenging our own assumptions. Once we've begun that work, the bridge will help us to enhance the work of our mirror. It will also help us prepare for our window work, looking out on the larger society. So here are the 3 things that we need to thrive in terms of building connections with others. Humility, stepping outside of our comfort zone, and listening to understand. So let's start with humility. We all need to practice the art of humility. Humility is the quality or state of not thinking that we're better than another. It's really the freedom from pride and arrogance, particularly in the face of different life experiences and different perspectives and different beliefs. In order to cultivate connections with others, particularly those who are different from us, we must first recognize that we're no better than anyone else. We may have very different life experiences, different perspectives, different beliefs, but that does not make one person better than another. We must practice releasing our arrogance and our pride so that we can be able to meet one human being to another human being, each with our own unique life stories. Practicing humility allows space to find value in others and also to be interested and willing to step out of our own realities and experience someone else's, which takes us to our second step, and that is to step out of our comfort zone. We all have a comfort or safe zone. And in our comfort or our safe zone are the people who we know, the places that we frequent, the news and social media that we rely on. Unfortunately, our comfort zone is also an echo chamber that reinforces what we already think, what we already believe, and all of our existing perspectives and worldviews. Within this comfort zone, it's very easy to fall victim to stereotypical thoughts, misconceptions, and bias without even being aware that it's happening. In addition to our comfort zone, there are also societal factors that separate us from one another. We're often isolated based on our socioeconomic status or our race, religion, our language. These are some of the things that isolate one from another. In order to step out of our comfort zone, we must take deliberate action to break through those societal forces and our own comfort zones and echo chambers. But the great thing about stepping outside of our comfort zone is that once we do, we've now expanded our comfort zone. The more we step out, the bigger and more diverse our comfort zone becomes. When we step outside of our comfort zone, we give ourselves an opportunity to see the world from a different point of view, a different perspective. So how do we step outside of our comfort zone? So I'm going to give you 3 simple steps to help you step outside of your comfort zone. First, change the news channel. If you get your news from one primary source, add an additional source. If you typically watch the news, change the network that you're viewing. If you do watch, consider reading the news or listening to the news. So you want to begin to break this echo chamber by expanding the places from which you get your information. A second step you can take, and I know this one might take a moment considering that we're in COVID, but the next time you're at an event and you walk in and you typically look around the room to try and find people you know so you can go engage with them, this time, don't look for people you know. Look for people you don't know. Look for people you haven't encountered before and see if you can strike up a conversation. Again, we're in COVID right now, so that one might take a moment, but this next one is really easy. Spend time with people who disagree with you. Okay, when I say easy, I don't mean it's easy to spend time with people who disagree with you. I just mean it might be easier to get to those people, right? Because we all have people in our lives with whom we don't agree. Maybe it's a family member who you typically avoid, or maybe it's those other friends of some of your friends, or maybe even some professional colleagues. Engage with people who don't typically agree with you. This will give you an opportunity to practice our next and final strategy of building connection, and that is listening to understand. You've probably heard the phrase, listen to understand, not to be understood. We need to listen for the purpose of understanding, not to make a point. We have to ask questions to better understand another's perspective. We must listen without judgment and ask questions not for the purpose of justifying our own beliefs or refuting those of someone else, but rather to better understand and consider why they believe what they believe. Where were their views, or how were their views formed? What is their perspective based on? Now, this is not meant to get you to adopt new beliefs, but rather to develop an understanding and respect for the way others see and experience the world, even when their view and their experiences are different from our own. But we can only do this if we practice humility first. So, the bridge. The bridge is about building connections with others. And in order to do this, we must first practice humility. We must expand our own comfort zones, and we must listen for understanding. So thank you for sharing your time with me today. Join me next time for 3 to Thrive, Part 3, The Window. Thanks.